killing machine, but it's an easy way and a greener way to do it.
And in choosing, and I think Mahel will lead into this a little later in the talk, but in being able to choose specific regions of the city in order to make that most efficient, can you give us a rough idea if we're to increase, for example, on the order of 10% in a particular neighborhood? What type of temperature impact could we expect that to have in terms of improvement on the urban heat island phenomenon?
That's for me?
Yes.
If you increase to 10%, you can have, I guess, 2 to 3 degrees. But it's an average temperature because you're going to measure an average temperature for the whole area. But under trees, under the greenery, and in the local temperature, you might lose around 10 degrees if you use the shade. So if you have an overall of 2 or 3 degrees down, means you have much more cooler spot where you can stay or leave.
Okay, understood. And I understand that it's complex in comparing different types of situations, but it speaks to the point of who are the different types of stakeholders that are involved in this type. Obviously, the urban planner doesn't work in isolation. How are these discussions addressed, I guess?
It's like always, it's a joint effort between urban planners, building, people who actually live in the city, and to tackle urban heat area will also need bigger scientists to help us to integrate what climate change would have as an effect on existing area.
Thank you. So I think that leads us in nicely to our discussion now with Mahel, and really trying to turn our attention to how do we use digital tools to evaluate different scenarios that can inform policy making. How do we visualize these results? And I know Mahel is going to give us an avant-premiere of some of our initial work on the air care project. I just want to give one caveat before I pass the floor over to Mahel, is that some of the simulation that he's going to show you today is coming from compiled data from a selected number of cities similar to Cairo. We're not using actual Cairo data yet because, of course, we're still building the emissions inventory. We will deploy the sensor network early next year. And so for the moment, we're testing the digital architecture using data compilation from other cities. And with that, I'll introduce Mahel to say a few words about the digital twin solution. And Mahel, when you'd like me to start the video, just let me know and I can advance the slide and start the video and allow you to comment in parallel.
That's great. Thank you very much. I hope you can all hear me well. Thank you, Robert, for this few words. And it's a great pleasure indeed to be here with all of you today. Thank you for having us and attending our session. I think I'm not going to give more numbers. Robert did already, but if I had one to choose, it's indeed one that I like very much to use, is if we all think that cities account today for 2-3% of the land on our planet and are responsible for 2/3 of greenhouse gas emission. I think we all agree here in that session and at the occasion of the COP27 that there are things that could be improved. I am a big believer that technology can be a catalyst, can be an accelerator to support the officials, the cities, to transform and face the challenges that they have ahead of all of us. There is one report actually which is coming next week, going to be published next week by the Thought Lab, which has been interviewing more than 200 cities all around the globe in 79 countries to be accurate. And they were trying to understand what cities need to do to reach what they call the future readiness status. So how they can be better prepared for the future, increase their resilience. And actually, two things quite interesting for our session today came out of the report. One, it is said that it's about building a vision and a plan, so planning exercise, in years ahead. So, and being able as well to execute that plan and track the progress, so vision and planning. The second interesting fact, I think, is around cities that have the ability to change the citizens' behavior. So in that, I think we start touching the topic of communication. If you want people to change the way they do certain things, you need to explain them why, and you need to reach a very important degree of transparency in public policies. And then the report is starting to think, okay, so what could be the key levers, the enablers to help cities reach that future readiness status and implement and develop this vision and this communication methodology. The podium, the top three, is actually quite enlightening. Number one, it's about digital transformation. Number two, innovation. And number three, data analytics. I think it's pretty obvious, and I'm sure we all agree that technology in these three domains has a big part to play. Today, indeed, I'm going to focus a bit more on digital twin, which is one technology at the crossroad of many others. It is, how can we define it? It is an exact replica, science-based, and I insist on that, of the city, of the territory, which has this ability to analyze, integrate all the data that the city is producing. It has as well the power to bring all the stakeholders around a single, again, science-based referential to create collective intelligence mechanism, so improve the way people work with each other. I think Michel was saying a minute ago that to solve the East Island issue, you need planners, you need experts, you need city officials, so you need a lot of, collective intelligence to find the solutions. And last but not least, digital twins have the ability or provide the ability to the users to simulate, to imagine different scenarios and test what could be the best. So play what we call what-if scenarios. What could be the best decision before I execute it, I implement it? Could I make sure this is what I should do and what's going to be the impact? And actually, Robert, to start touching the topic, this is nothing new for a lot of different areas in our today present economies. Indeed, in manufacturing, for about 40 years, this technology has been used in life science, in healthcare as well. And if I give you one example, very, very concretely, in the automotive industry, today car manufacturers are crashing in the real world, not more than 2 vehicles. All the rest happens leveraging the virtual twin technology. I think it gives you an idea of how accurate, compared to the real world, these virtual universes can be. Everything is being tested, from the speed to the material being used, to the number of people of a car, to the weather condition, and so on and so forth. That has actually a massive impact from a sustainability standpoint, because before that, car manufacturers used to crash 100 cars somehow. So the immediate return on investment is quite clear, I hope. For cities and territories, there are no reasons, and actually for some of them I have the chance to work with already, there are no reason that the same return on investment could not be computed when it comes to climate change and fighting the environmental crisis which is coming up. There I would say some main topic. We see the usage now around digital twin, urbanization strategy, planning, energy, mobility, crisis management and prediction as well is a big topic of digital twin these days. And for all of them, we see pretty much 2 times. One time is about strategic thinking. How do we plan? Again, back to the Thought Lab report, I think this is going in the right direction. How can we plan? How do we build the vision of where we want to be in a few years from now? And how do we build that plan to make sure we're on track? And as well, when the crisis is here, is there a way we could react faster? The twin allows that as well. Digital twin are also pretty efficient in doing that. I'm going to use an example in Kyoto Prefecture in Japan for a city which is called Keihana. We've been building with them the whole digital twin of the territory, working on last mile delivery, working on circular economy challenges, working on energy efficiency challenges. So that's part of the vision and the planning they want to implement in the next 5 to 10 years, leveraging again the virtual twin. But we have also been working with them on building resilience planning mechanism around flooding. They're very impacted by flooding. The twin helps understand what are the best mitigation action that could be implemented in case a certain flood event happens, with flooding science-based simulation being analyzed around the twin and experts working on it around the twin. But as well, with one of our partners in Japan, we are working on a citizen app to alert the citizen in case of a flooding events happening and recommend to them in real time what is the best evacuation route that the government actually recommending them to take, based on what has been analyzed by the digital twin. So very pragmatic, and I think we could start defining what I like to call return on societal interest for the cities. How do we make our cities better for our citizens? There is one last aspect which I would like to underline before moving to the video about digital twin. It's the power indeed of communication, of citizen engagement. How do you explain what is being done for them, to protect them and to help them as well, if needed, change their behavior? This is what I like to call here return on political investment. It is very important to create that engagement with citizens and to show them that the situation is being analyzed and that the best measures are being taken to protect them. I think, Robert, on this, we can launch the video. It should be 3 to 4 minutes, I think. I'm not going to comment every screen. But this is in the same spirit that this partnership led by Suez and with our partners from Aegis, Atos, and few others that you will see in the screen in a minute, has been triggered a few weeks ago and is actually going to really kick off January 2023. So the first step of such a program is to build the twin. You have an example of the digital twin that has been built right now in the most simple way in the downtown Cairo area. This is LOD1, LOD2 model, level of detail 1 or 2. We're gradually going to enrich I would say the visual aspect of the twin. We're going to work on the facade. We're going to work on integrating more data. Atos is going to also particularly help us on that. And then gradually we're going to increase, thanks to the sensors that Suez is going to deploy, we're going to increase the capacity to understand the phenomena, first of all, of air pollution in the city. Playing different simulation, playing different scenarios, sometimes hour by hour, day by day, again, playing with the weather condition and at the street level. So what you see here, for example, is, are we going to be, and the answer is yes, are we going to be able to predict and to analyze that in front of a public hospital, we detect that there is a peak of pollution within the next weeks or years to come if we stay in the same traffic condition, or in the same, if the climate change keep on impacting us the way, unfortunately, it is right now. So what we want to do once we have detected this phenomena, I was briefly mentioning it in my introduction, is to have experts work together. So the digital twin that we're building is actually uncompensating a whole set of collaboration tools, structured, unstructured, that are allowing experts to exchange around the twin of what's going on. It's more visible in the Heat Island example that we are starting now to discover in the screen. So you see here project management solutions. So we are trying to address the climate change situation, and in that specific example, the Heat Island phenomena, with a consistent project-based approach. So what you see here are experts exchanging on a dedicated community, and experts could be a planner, climate experts, CT experts, or as well technology experts such as my company and our partners here, exchanging what could be done, what are the best practices we see worldwide. And then, moving to the twin, you can test these scenarios. So what you can see at the screen immediately is one heat island detection, and the way the phenomena is developing in a specific square in Cairo downtown. And what we are going to do in the next of this demo is to simulate an interaction, is to play an interaction between a CT expert, planning expert, and a climate expert. Basically here, what we're trying to achieve is digital continuity. We want the climate expert to alert and to say, indeed, I identify this phenomena. How about we try to modelize the positive impact of putting trees in that area and try to scientifically measure and expose to decision makers how many degrees we're going to gain if we plant these trees at a certain spot, working on a certain species eventually, and then being in a position to probably as well make some trade-off. Which tree essence should I select, depending on the canopy and the amount of water the tree needs? And so then you can imagine as well some arbitration, some trade-offs that could be made, leveraging the digital twin science and simulation capabilities, combined with, again, the collaboration dynamic we're going to try to implement in the project. So that's the result that you have in the screen of this first simulation. The trees have been, in that example, selected to be implemented on the roofs of the buildings, which, by the way, would require architects to be involved as well, not only the planners. And then the simulation being relaunched shows that we're gaining 1.4 degrees. And as Robert was saying, we have launched this simulation based on what has been done in other cities in the world with similar configuration. Right now, we're really hoping that starting January, February, March, and the project will be accelerating, we'll be able to show more concrete results and great success of this project ahead. Thank you very much for your attention. Robert, I give you the floor back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahel. So with that, it brings me to our conclusion this afternoon. I think Mahel has very well summarized that it is about allowing collaboration amongst experts, but also a broader panel of stakeholders. And we trust that our air care project, with the full support of our Egyptian government sponsors at MCIT, the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, as well as the Ministry of the Environment, we will bring tools that will allow accurate and equitable access to information to allow us to build better climate resiliency, better comfort and health protection from air pollution and atmospheric emission impacts in our cities moving forward to help for the betterment of communities around the globe. And with that, thank you for your attention. Thank you to my co-speakers. Much appreciated, Mahel. Not sure if there's any questions. Maybe just one final note for anyone that did download the app and participate with the virtual quiz is that some of these materials, the video, the support slides from this afternoon's presentation will be available as well as the quiz for a period of 1 month following the talk. And certainly if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Our email addresses are shown on the screen. Feel free to reach out and contact, and we will get back to you. Thank you very much.